If you've ever wanted to learn about tarot spreads beyond the basics, today's video is for you. We're taking a look at a collection of resources focused on tarot spreads. Together, they cover everything from designing your own spreads and discovering new spread prompts to recording your readings. Most of these are new to me, so we'll be discovering them together, while one is an oldie but a goodie that I'm excited to share with you. So, first, let's take a look at a book that's new to me. This is Tarot Spreads: How to Read Them, Create Them, and Revise Them by Meg Jones Wall, founder of 3am Tarot. Before we begin, reading spreads, writing spreads, revising spreads, spreads for every occasion, closing thoughts, and resources for further exploration. So we've got the intro, but then before we begin, this is going to go over your tarot basics. So nice to revisit if you want to, good if you're brand new as well. Also nice to see if you already know the basics, another author's stance on those basics, because they do vary, of course, and sometimes it's good to see other people's perspectives. So we're still in the basics here. Let me get ahead to reading spreads. So then we have part 2, reading spreads. This is going to get into, of course, reading your spreads. What are tarot spreads? How do spreads work? Why do we use spreads? When and when not to use spreads? Where do spreads come from? How do we choose a particular tarot spread? What should we look for in a tarot spread? What if my question is really complicated? As is life, so that's a good one to go over. A note on outcomes and predictions. So, and then of course gets into reading spreads and if you get stuck in interpreting it. And we have examples and exercises, which is great. So more examples and exercises, very nice. Then it gets into writing spreads. So we're bringing you from the basics to reading spreads to more advanced writing your own spreads. And this is the portion that really caught my interest because I do create my own spreads and always love to see others' perspectives and want to expand my knowledge on that. So what does it mean to write a tarot spread? Why would we need to write our own spreads? When should we write our own spreads? When should we not write our own spreads? How to write them? Where to start? What does a well-written spread include? That's good. I know there's certain positions that I like to include when I'm advising others that I always want to have in there. More about creating the spreads. How do you test a spread? That's cool. And writing a practice spread. And then it's going to get into some methods. I want to give this whole book away here, so I'm just going to kind of skip over. We've got more exercises and resources, a bunch of prompts, it looks like. In fact, there are 200 prompts in this book. So that's really cool. That's something else that caught my interest. Then it gets into revising spreads. So of course that's going to go over maybe revising a spread that you've written for the next time and that kind of thing, or revising a pre-made spread. Maybe you want to change one that you found and make it more suited for you. I've done that as well. Spreads for every occasion. So here is where we're going to get some pre-made spreads that go over all kinds of areas of life: health, work, zodiac signs, love, all that kind of thing. More prompts and more resources. So I think this is going to be great. I'm definitely excited to read it. So thought I would share it with you all since I'm going down this tarot spread kind of rabbit hole, having fun with it. All right, let's get to the next one. And next up, we have The Ultimate Guide to Tarot Spreads by Liz Dean. And this book focuses more on pre-made spreads, which is why I wanted to also have this one, which talks more about writing your own. So here, let's check this out. And this book is rather large. That's why I don't fully have it in my camera because I don't have my camera pulled away quite enough, but I think it shows enough for you to get the idea. So we have spreads that cover a gamut of situations in life. As you can tell here, they've really covered different areas, and I think that's great. Also goes over the basics in chapter 1 and chapter 2. Also talks about timing spreads and techniques, which is nice. So all kinds of things here. So intro. Okay, some of the basic stuff here, as you can see. Now let's flick to one of my tags. So on one of my tags, this is kind of neat. There's a major arcana cards as advice. So if you're looking for an advice card, or say in a spread you have an advice card position, this is kind of a neat shortcut. Doesn't mean you actually need to interpret it this way because everyone has their own meanings, but it's nice to see what they say would be the advice. And you can always take that into account or not if you want to, but I thought that was pretty cool. So it's going to talk about various techniques and spreads. All kinds of spreads. You've got your basic. They kind of start you off slower, one card, build up to Celtic Cross, and then you're going to get into more. So we have spreads on love and romance. And once again, pretty cool. We have key cards for love and romance, what to look for, and what to watch for. So, for example, the lovers, love and a love decision, or what to watch for. Let's say Eight of Swords, restrictions in relationships, unavailable to partners. So once again, what they think you would look for, whether or not you see it that way is up to you. So spreads for love. Then we have spreads for money, home, and security, which is cool. Then we have health, healing, and self-empowerment. Let's see what is this tag for? Oh, we have also a key here. Key cards for health, healing, and self-empowerment. Similar as in love and the others. It's just nice to see those keys and kind of refer to it. So lots of spreads on that. What else do we have here? Okay, so then crossroads, crisis, decisions, and change. Once again, another key at the front and lots of spreads on that. Okay, let's see. Then we have spiritual development, sacred symbols, and divine beings. So key cards and sacred symbols for divine beings. So that's really cool. And 7 rays, if you go by that, it kind of has a gamut of spiritual keys in there. Key cards for nurturing your creativity and more spreads on creativity. It's really neat how it covers all these different subjects. And then it's all in color and beautiful. So here's timing spreads and techniques. So for example, planets and days of the week. I really like that. And this is a great weekly reading. We also have month ahead, year ahead. And once again, has more kind of keys to cards. So I like how not only are there spreads, but there's also various different keys. You can really go pretty deep with this. More spreads. Today's teachers, spreads inspired by the books that changed our lives. So a spread based on the artist's way, for example. Just some neat stuff. Major arcana, past lives. I think that's pretty neat. And more, just many, many more, various correspondences, more spreads, spreads of the occultists. And we have spreads in there. like, for example, Golden Dawn and more. Okay, appendants. So, lots in there. That's The Ultimate Guide to Tarot Spreads by Liz Dean. All right, now for the piece de resistance. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but I am really excited to share these with you. Some of you may already have these. I have not gotten to work with these yet. I've waited to play with them until I show them to you first. So now I can finally play with them because I'll be showing them to you. So we have the Spread Deck by Holly Nelson. I also have here the Spread Deck, the Shadow Work Edition. Holly also has other editions available now because it has been successful. We have one that's focused on money work and beyond. And I think there was going to be a romance or maybe a Kickstarter will be out on that. I can't remember the exact terms, but I will put a link to her Etsy shop and you can see all the various spread decks available or combos, sets that you can get into. So let's take a look. Let's just get one in focus here. So design your own spreads using this new innovative deck. Combine 80 different cards to create your perfect spread. So 80 cards in here, quite a lot of cards. Now I'll show you what's on these cards. Oh, by the way, finger cutouts to help you open it. And this is a hard box. So we don't need a guidebook, so there's no guidebook on that. We do have like a front card. Here we have instructions and tips as well. I'll just read the instructions. Let your intuition guide you as you choose the right spread cards to create the perfect layout. Depending on your mood and questions, lay down the cards in any order you like. Both small or large spreads work great. So there's more tips there for you. You can read more about the deck. So this is cool. So you're going to get all these different prompts or spread positions. And what I like is that you can use this in multiple ways, kind of like it says in the intro. So I could shuffle and pull out cards and then know, okay, this is what I need to read on, right? Or I could go through and I have something in mind and I could pick out cards and create a spread that way. And that really prompts you because you might not think of a spread that needs, oh, for example, I need a plan. I would probably not have thought to add a spread position for that, right? Very cool. Or friends, maybe something about that. So overall outcome. So just, I really like that. Thinking of things you may not think of when creating your own spread. So you could use this in so many ways. And that's why I think this is just, I think it's pretty brilliant. So let me show you how this works. So we have this pass position. And if you haven't seen this before, you're thinking, okay, what's that? Right? Well, I take the card, I leave the top poking out. So in the past, Page of Swords. Now, I also like this because sometimes I create a spread, I write it down, and when you create a bunch of different unique spreads, you don't always have them memorized. But this is fantastic. So you can put it out, and when you look back, you can see the card position, so you don't necessarily have to have it memorized. Also, if you have clients or for yourself and you want to take a picture to think on later, well, I do have, honestly, back quite a long time, I may have pictures of spreads and it's like, what was that position again? And I would probably have to go back to my journal, see what I wrote. Well, in this case, it would be in the picture because I would have past, present, future, that kind of thing, right? So, and this is the original, so it's just going to kind of cover everything. So there you can see past, present, future. I think that is so cool. Of course, the other way I talked about shuffling and coming up with kind of a random spread or whatever you think needs to be coming out, which is a way to have spirit or whatever else intervene in what you should be reading on. Sometimes I'm in the mood to read tarot, but I don't necessarily know what I want to read on. So I think that's really great for those moments as well. Like, I'm in the mood to sit down and light a candle and get comfy with some cards, but gee, I don't really have anything specific I feel like reading on. Well, you could shuffle through, throw it out, and maybe find out why you were in the mood for doing a reading at that time, because maybe there was something that needed to come through to you. So I think this is a fabulous tool. So clever. Oh, and I should say these are matte, not the kind of mat where it wouldn't glide if you shuffle them, but I think these are a good mat where it's maybe a semi mat. I'm not sure, and a decent amount of thickness on these as well. So let's take a look at the shadow work. So, and this one is, I think on the back it says there's 80 cards, but this is a thicker box, so either the cardstock is thicker or maybe there's more than 80 cards. I don't know. Okay, so Shadow Work Edition. We've already seen the instructions. Let's take a look at what kind of prompts we have with that. So, like I said, shadow work. So, here's some of the prompts you could get with that: upsetting news, inner child, cycles, inner weaknesses. Oh, achievements. It might be nice to have something like that while you're digging into your shadows. Overall results, power struggles, past self, your soul journey, major transformation. So lots of different options here. Yeah, trust issues. Super cool. What did I do? I'm not sure. This is brand new. I haven't gotten into this yet. What are you avoiding? Oh my gosh. That's so good. What are you avoiding? Oh my gosh. I think all of us need to ask that at moments in time. This is how you heal. So super excited. I can't wait to start playing with this. So that's a look at the spread deck by Holly Nelson. Actually, haha, I'm back. I think I figured out what these are meant for. Duh. So I think what you would do is probably add your own prompts to this, write it at the top, and then use them. I'm sure that's what these must be for. And I didn't look ahead of time because I'm excited to get into it. But yeah, so you could add your own. So especially with something personal like that, that might be in the original as well. Okay. Anyway. All right. Now on to the next one. Once you've created spreads and done your readings, the next step is capturing what you've learned. And that's where the journal comes in. So this journal includes over 1,900 full-color tarot stickers. There is a nice cover to this. You can see the glossy touches, this beautiful kind of burgundy, I'm not sure what the exact color would be called, that's on it, and has a nice soft glossy matte. It's not glossy, but a semi-gloss, semi-matte finish. This is by Wiser, by the way. So, and I think Teresa Reed created this or worked with them to create it. So there's a fully illustrated layouts and instructions for 8 spreads. There's 208 journal pages to record your readings and over 1,900 full color stickers. And so that will cover 24 complete sets of tarot cards, so plenty of stickers, instructions and guidance on how to keep a journal, including best practices for those just getting started, and then keywords for all cards from the Master Tarot Reader, Teresa Reed. So I think this is a nice cover. Who it's for. Once again, this is new to me. I'm sharing it with you, and then I can start marking it up. So welcome to the journey. Why keep a tarot journal? Tools for the journey: 1 card draws, 2 card spreads, 3 card spreads, 4 card spreads, Celtic cross spreads, the Ankh spread, the horseshoe spread, astrological wheel spread, my personal spreads, keywords, stickers. So let's take a look. I love keeping tarot journals. I definitely do that, and it's sometimes it is so wild to go back and look at your your readings, and it's amazing. It really shows me personally how tarot really does work. And also a great way to kind of get your ideas on a paper about what you think that spread means. And fantastic to learn because you can start to see a pattern sometimes if you keep a journal and you record certain cards that come up at certain times. You can pick up on patterns. It'll help you pick up on patterns. So, here we can see, I think this is really nice and pretty. We have a date, moon phase, if you track moon phases, also a cool thing to do. The deck you used, the significator card, if you used them. And here is where, if you're going to use them, you would put the little tarot card sticker, which, as you can see here, are in full color and cover all the cards. So instead of just writing out the name of it or trying to draw it yourself, you can just get a sticker, which there are lots of, from the back, and put it right here. So then you put your question, your first impressions, your interpretation, and the keywords, and then your reflections. So very nice for a one card pull. Then, let's see, here's the layout for 2-card spreads. So same thing, just room for 2 stickers. Then we have your 3-card spread. Okay. Then we have 4-card spread, really pretty layout. I enjoy this and has all the kind of key information on things. I have some tarot journals that I find that I don't use all the sections and I actually want more room for other areas to write about the, the basic portions like the interpretation and the first impressions. And the room's been taken up by other things that are kind of extraneous or like I don't get to necessarily. Just little things. So this I feel like really just sticks to what I want to use my journal for anyway. That's, for me. For me, my tarot journal is focused on tarot. So it's going to tell you a little bit about the spread here, Celtic Cross spread, and then it will give you Celtic Cross spread journal keeping. So quite nice. You can use the stickers here. Once again, a beautiful presentation. This is nice quality paper. I feel like I can write on it and it's not so thin where it would be on the other side. It depends on the pen you use and how hard you press, but decent. It's not thin is what I'm trying to say. Then the Ankh card spread, so more entries for that. What else? Oh, the horseshoe spread. I like this spread. That's a useful spread. So horseshoe and personal spread. So if you are making your own spreads, say with the tarot spread book and you're making your own, this is where you can create them. So I love that. This kind of covers the gamut of different type of spreads that you might be using. Lots of space for the personal spreads. And then, of course, the stickers. And at the back, we have the keywords for cards. So really nice. And also, I should mention something I love and use, a ribbon. So a ribbon to keep track of where you're at in the journal. Say you're doing your daily and it's a 1 card. So you could leave that on the day. So super nice touch. This feels like a nice quality journal. Very nice. So that's a look at the Tarot Journal by Wiser. Of course, I will link all these items in the description for you. So I hope you enjoyed seeing these various tools. I'm going to have a lot of fun playing with them. I tried to bring out tools that kind of cover a different basis, like the book that's more standard but very well done, where you have pre-made spreads, and then the book that's really going to help you think for yourself and create your own spreads and teach you how to write them yourself. And then we have the card decks, which fit both of those categories and are great for tactile people like me and many other reasons. And then, of course, a journal to help you record everything so you can reflect on it and learn from those readings as well. So, hopefully, you find one of those useful. And if not, hey, you know these tools are out there. And I'm glad you hung out with me today. If you did find any of these tools useful, I would love to know which one you might want to pick up one day or you think would be useful in your practice. So, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. And until next time, happy tarot reading.